Okay, so now that you have all of this information entered into your notebook and you've set this up at the bottom of your notebook for today, we're going to talk about how do you take a mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction, and then how do you take an improper fraction and turn it back into a mixed number. So I just want us to think for a second about a mixed number. So let's say that I have the mixed number 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 literally means I have two wholes. So I'm going to draw two boxes colored in their entirety. And then I'm going to draw in a third box, but this one's going to be split into fourths, and I only have one of those. So if I want to know what this is as an improper fraction, then the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make them all look the same. So I'm going to split this one so that it is split into fourths as well. Then I'm going to count how many fourths I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2 1/4 is the same thing as 9 fourths. So the way that I do this without having to draw it all out is I take my mixed number and I do the denominator times the whole number. So I do 4 times 2, which gives me 8. That's what we did here, 4 times 2. See it? 4 times 2. Then we're going to add in whatever fractional part we had. For this one, it happened to be a 1, so that gives me 9. They were all cut into fourths, so I'm going to keep my original denominator of 4. So the rules look like this. You're going to start by multiplying your denominator, and I'm abbreviating, times your whole number. Then you're going to add your numerator, and you will keep your original denominator. And I am abbreviating. Feel free to write them out if you'd like to. So now let's talk about how to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So let's take an improper fraction like 7/3. And let's see if we can model this. So if I were to draw a circle, obviously they're split into thirds, so I'm going to split it into thirds. And then I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3. So that right there is 1, 2, 3. I have to get to 7 though, so I'm going to keep drawing. Split it into thirds again. So here is 4, 5, 6. Still not enough, so I'm going to draw one more, split it into thirds, and if I color in one more, that makes 7/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope you see the 7/3 there, and you're doing this in your notebook. So if I have 7/3, that's what this is. But if I want to picture this as a mixed number, I have two wholes. So that's the same thing as two wholes. And then I have 1 out of 3. So 2 1/3 is my mixed number that matches my improper fraction. So if I want to do this without having to model it, there are some rules that I can follow, and the rule basically looks like this. You divide the numerator by the denominator. And we'll do an example of this in a second. And then when you get your answer, your quotient, which is a fancy word for the answer to your division problem, is your whole number. Your remainder, if you have any, is your new numerator. And then you keep the original denominator. So we're going to do two examples of this. We're going to do 11 over 4. So the rule says you divide the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to divide 11 by 4. Well, 4 will not fit into 11 perfectly, but it will go 2 times. And 2 times 4 is 8, and so that leaves me with 3. So 2, being my quotient, or my answer, becomes my whole number. 3 is my remainder. Some of you might write this down here in elementary school where you would write remainder 3. So 3 becomes my new numerator. And it says keep the original denominator. Well, my original denominator, if you look, was this number. So that is equal to 2 3/4. Let's do one additional example. Let's do 35/7. Improper fraction, and we want to know what is this as a mixed number. So we're going to divide 35 by 7. So 7 into 35, the bottom into the top. 7 will go into 35 5 times, and that gives me 35, and I have a remainder of 0. A remainder of 0. So that means since this was my quotient, that 5 is my whole number, and since I don't have a remainder, I actually don't have a fractional part. This is just equal to 5 whole pieces, so no remainder here. Okay, so feel free to go back, watch either of these videos again so that you can make sure that your page looks like mine in your notebook. You want to make sure that you have all of this information on the correct page according to the instructions. And then once you're finished, you can go on to the next page, and you're going to get a foldable that you're going to have to fold and cut, and you're going to put it onto that page. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, watch this video as many times as you need to make sure that you have a review of fractions ready to go.